Well, welcome to today's rant, and beautiful day here in Fort Mill. We have just been having an incredible time around here, and today also begins the 40-day fast that people all over the world are going to be participating in. And we also will be joining in. A lot of people think of fasting, if you've never done it, there are many ways to fast. In fact, I think there's so many ways in Scripture that it invites us to be creative and even come up with a personal way to fast. And I think it's valid. Anything, that we lay aside that in order to focus on the Lord, His purposes, praying for something specifically, it really seems to get the attention of the Lord. And but I know some people that are just fasting from television. Some are fasting from desserts. Some from all bread and desserts or meat, all different kinds of things, their favorite foods. It's kind of what the Daniel fast was, the way Daniel and his associates fasted. They called it from pleasant foods, which were probably desserts, wine and things like that. They drank water, ate vegetables, basically, fasted from all meat, and God heard their prayers. And so the thing is, you do what's right for you. I know some are going on a total fast, a water fast, where they drink water only. You can't survive 40 days without liquids. But some are doing a juice fast. They only drink juice. So go ahead and feel free if you want to be a part of this. But it's for a noble cause and for an critical cause. We have got to have another great awakening. We've got to have revival in America. We include in to your prayers and fasting too, of course, all the families that are still so devastated from the Florida shooting and all the other shootings, all the other terrorist attacks we've had, bombings and everything else in our country. That's really hard for people to deal with. To lose somebody to an accident is bad enough, but when it's an intentional murder or terrorist attack or something, that's just really, really hard. We need to pray for them. Of course, a lot of people are trying to politicize it. Immediately, the left jumps on gun control, and we've got to have gun control. Now, there certainly does seem to be the reasonable ways that we can do better background checks, things like that. But the problem is, especially people whose emotions are so raw right now, and you expect that, but that's when some of the worst laws get passed. When they don't think things through, they just do them emotionally. The truth is, if the laws already on the books had been followed and the procedures had been followed, this last terrorist attack and a whole lot of the others could have been totally avoided, should have been totally avoided. So to just think we have new laws, sometimes that just adds more layers of paperwork, more layers of stuff to do, and doesn't really lead to better security. What we need to do is have, I think, greater penalties for not following the law. Greater penalties for professionals who don't do their job competently and put us at risk. That I'm not talking about where they would be criminally prosecuted or something, but they should certainly be fired. The leadership should be fired. There should be consequences. Gets everybody's attention. But procedures broke down. The FBI knew all about the shooter. And what they knew should have caused them unbelievable alarm and action to get this guy off the streets. The local police had visited his house from complaints 39 times. Did nothing. So we may feel better about ourselves when we, to pass new laws or legislation or whatever. They're going after legislation they could not pass any other way. But the cities, the 3 cities that have the strictest gun laws in the country have the highest gun crime in the country. Laws are not the answer, but there is better security. They're following what is already on the books. What the laws we already have would be eliminate a whole lot of the threats that we're facing right now. Just saying, but we need to focus on doing that. Then we need to focus on our own church and school security. If you're in leadership, you've got to take this seriously. We've got guys in our Fellowship of Ministries whose books we published, Andy Serace, that are now becoming specialists in church security. He came and shared at our staff chapel last week, and he didn't take but 10 minutes, and he dropped so many things that we saw right away. This could be unbelievable in increasing our security. Just the wisdom he has and his associates that they're starting to specialize in this type of thing. There are more church shootings than school shootings in the country. And almost all of it has been domestic violence, where a spouse comes looking for a spouse that they plan to do harm at, and they know they can find them at church, and a lot of people get hurt. That's not all of it, but of course it'd be great if we could eliminate all crime and all of these kinds of attacks. But how much security how much liberty do we want to give up for that? And I don't believe in this case we would be gaining any more security. But we need to look at our own church and school security. There are great books out there on it, great people that can come around and help you. We're having another security audit done, which I'd already commissioned weeks ago. We've got chaplains training that people that have been through it, that are really strong leaders in our church who went through chaplains training, said it was unbelievable how much it helped them just to do their job as a pastor or church leader. And how it would help you in any circumstance almost to become proactive and be a part of the solution and help in a situation rather than, just be confused and at a loss what to do. We know, these things are developed from years and years and years of experience. And they're tremendous. When I went through our chaplain's training, my first response was anybody in church leadership or school leadership should absolutely have this training. I mean, we have professionals come in, do the all kinds of stress management training, everything, from triage to whatever. But afterward, you just felt like, in a situation like that, you could be a part of the leadership that starts bringing order, peace, and solutions to the problem. So I'm just encouraging you, as this stays on the news, let's look at real practical ways that we can prepare so that this does not keep happening. Now, the FBI is getting hammered. It looks like they were the primary ones that may have dropped the ball in this last one. They've been getting hammered anyway. But one of the solutions for the FBI, because it just seems like the whole system is flawed from the inside out, the top down in the FBI. But one recommendation that has come out that has a lot of merit, I think, is put the FBI under the U.S. Marshals. Now, the FBI, their primary purpose is to investigate. combined with the U.S. Marshals, I think one problem we have in our government, we got so many different agencies all doing the same job, getting in the way of each other, not communicating, sometimes keeping information from each other because there's this competition going on between them, sometimes downright war going on between them. Maybe we need to do a whole lot of consolidating, such as that. And that could be a possible answer. But it takes leadership. You know, lawyers are trained to think legally, legalistically. The answer to every problem they see is, we need another law. Well, that's rarely the answer. We may need some more laws. We may need to change some of the things with the present laws that haven't been working or have proven to be counterproductive. But you don't want to just look at those things emotionally. You want to take time, evaluate them, evaluate the consequences, and have them looked at from every possible direction. I'm just saying, there are ways that we do that. But this consolidation thing, I remember I sat down with some government people, a lot of government experience, executive experience in government, having been a part of a number of administrations. And we found within 5 minutes, 3 agencies that were all doing the same thing, and none of it needed to be done anymore. They start an agency, put it in place, and there's no provision for ending it when its job is over. So they invent jobs, and they come up with all kinds. It is such a mess. I tell you, our whole government bureaucracy needs transformation, radical, profound transformation, much less the security, and I mean much more so the security and the FBI. It's very obvious to all now there's got to be some radical change in leadership, the whole mindset of leadership, style of leadership. And I'm not sure where the U.S. Marshals is now, but you haven't heard any really bad stuff. I mean, you'd really want to examine how effective they are now and how good they're doing, what their leadership is. But it could be something where the FBI needs to be parked under them for a while. The FBI was, birthed in the early 1900s to deal with organized crime, to deal with all kinds of stuff going on with the prohibition and all that. And it's evolved into, it was the premier investigative agency in the world. But why has it experienced such a meltdown recently? It's always leadership. You have to look at that first, not just making another law. You can have the best form of government there will ever be and have a very bad, inept, incompetent government if you don't have good people in the government. So we got to find the right people first. I'm just saying, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for joining today's rant.